Welcome to the Two Random Podcast. Tired of subscribing to 100 different podcasts?
Yeah.
Sir Express and I Speak Motivate eliminate boredom while giving you their commentary on breaking news, movies, music, and so much more.
Going down, man.
Subscribe today and rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts now.
I always follow them.
Random is the only solution. Two Random Podcast starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello. I'm I Speak Motivate.
And I'm Sir Express. And today,
Flame wins case against Katy Perry's Dark Horse plagiarism of Joyful Noise. And this is coming from Rapzilla, is what I'm reading from. The verdict is in, and it was determined Flame and his team won nearly 5-year legal battle against Katy Perry. It was reached at the beat to Perry's smash hit Dark Horse and properly copied Flame's track Joyful Noise. According to Billboard, the song's collaborators, Lucas Gottwald, Dr. Luke, Carl Martin, Sandberg, Max Martin, Henry Walter, Circuit, Sarah Hudson, and Jordan Michael Houston, Juicy J, Capitol Records, Warner Brothers, Music Corporation, Cobalt Publishing, and KZ Money Inc. are all liable. It took 7 days for the jury to deliberate and come to their decision. Flame and his team argued that the song was popular enough for Perry and company to have heard it despite their denial. They also had a musicologist break down the beat and explain the similarities. Perry's defense team brought in their own expert who refuted these claims. Another tactic of the plaintiff was using Perry's former background as a Christian singer, as well as having pastors her parents as a reason she would have heard the song. On Tuesday, July 30th, 2019, the settlement will be reached. Here is a refresher of the whole case and some of the timeline. In 2007, Flame released a song called Joyful Noise featuring Lecrae. In 2013, Katy Perry dropped her smash single Dark Horse featuring Juicy J. Flame and his team alleged that their song was ripped off by Perry and co-creator Dr. Luke. The song had very similar and at points identical sounding beats. Defendants never sought or obtained permission from plaintiffs to use the Joyful Noise song in creating, reproducing, recording, distributing, selling, or publicly performing plaintiff's song, the complaint says. Plaintiffs never gave any of the defendants permission, consent, or a license to use Joyful Noise for any purpose, including creation of a derivative work based on Joyful Noise. Now, what do you think about this, Sir Express?
Well, in this situation, Miss Perry, even if you didn't know, somebody in your group, they had to know, because Joyful Noise has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
I lived in Kansas City and I heard it, so
yeah.
I know for sure that you had to have heard that song. And plus, it had Lecrae on it, so Lecrae was well known. So that would have been a big song for Flame, because he had Lecrae on the song. So, Miss Perry, even if you didn't know it yourself, I feel like somebody in your camp did, and they are lying to you. So, I feel bad for Katy Perry, because if you didn't know, then dang, you got pulled into something that you shouldn't have even had to deal with. But if you did know, then just respect the man and pay the dues because you did not pay for the ability to use it. And I've listened to both beats, and it is the exact same beat. Dark Horse is just slowed down. And when I heard the beat, I was like, this sounds familiar, like I heard this beat before. And then I went back and listened to Flame, and then I heard I'm like, oh snap, that's that song. I wonder if they got permission. And then later on, after I said I wonder if they got permission, I heard Flame was suing her. So it's one of those situations where if you didn't know, I feel bad for you, but if you did, I don't. What do you think?
I have the same sentiment towards it. For me, let's go into this. Same thing as far as the Perry situation. Perry, if you did know, shame on you. And just pay up. If you didn't know, shame on your team for not letting you know, because they put you in something that, that you wouldn't even been in the first place. Because say a producer got producer block or beaters block or whatever the case. They were like, look, I'm going to go online and get something right quick by someone that I feel like is unknown. Now, this has been happening for years. Where people have been stealing people's work just because they don't have as much notoriety. They feel as if they can get away with it. And, it's just plain exploitation. But the situation is the same thing that goes with these comedians. Right. I have heard that there have been comedians that jokes from the local club. So what will happen is one of their representatives will act like a normal person, buy a ticket at a local club, say in Atlanta, listen to the jokes of a young guy or girl that's a comedian, that's a local comedian, take those jokes, write them down, and give them to a big name like Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, or what have you. Not saying these comedians do it, but this is just an example. And they say it, but because they have a larger audience, it seems as if they were the ones who said it first. But it's because they have more of a audience, they have more influence. So it seems and that's the same thing with this Perry situation. She's mainstream, and they're in a niche.
Exactly.
And they're because of that,
Christian era.
Yes.
And Katy Perry's in the world, what they call the world era, where there's a lot more listeners in that era. And so I feel like you said, shame on you if you did know. Again, I personally wish it didn't come to this. I wish people would have come to him and said, hey, I love this beat, I want to know if we can use it for a Katy Perry song. And
come to some type of agreement, whether it was royalties or a lump sum payment, exactly, that we would pay in order to use this beat or things. Because I feel like they could have came to an agreement.
I feel like they're paying more going to court than you would have had to pay if you would have just went to them and said, hey, I feel that I like this beat and I would like to use it for Katy Perry. Oh, okay. Well, this is the amount that I would like, or give me royalties to the song. But no, they didn't do that. And evidently the jury agreed.
Exactly, because like they were saying, their music expert was saying, oh, this is just the normal building blocks of music, then everybody would be copyright infringement. No, you guys listen to Joyful Noise by Flame and then listen to Dark Horse. The only thing is slow down. There's literally no difference. Like, out of all the copyright cases that I've ever heard of,
this is cut
and dry. Yeah. I mean, it's just slow down. I mean, the producer didn't even try to hide that they were stealing it. They'll put like a little underbeat, a little other melody in between it at all. Like, it's just slowed it down.
It's like, instead of it going, it went,
and that actually makes you hear it more, to be honest, that I'm stealing it. So,
it was sped up. It was like, and then I would have been like, I don't hear it.
You still would kind of hear it. You still would hear it. You need some type of other melody to intertwine with it.
No melody.
Something else.
Like nothing was added to the song. You could have like added a different kind of beat behind it. Like instead of just slowing the beat down, you could have added a different beat to the. Could have had
and
something
instead of
else.
do do do, maybe put that note lower.
Exactly.
Do 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 like something.
Exactly.
And
Change
then
the tone of it,
something.
but it was still that high pitched tone would just slow down. And it's, again, we are not, Katy Perry haters. We're not Katy Perry. We actually listen to her music, but right is right. You know what I mean?
Right. And so it just comes down to, when it comes, and I feel like this should be a lesson to all artists, all mainstream artists. Pay homage to those that are underground. If you're going to take something, make sure you pay homage, speak with them, be like, okay, can you make a beat similar? Maybe you could have got with Flame to see who created the beat to create something similar, but not, with that same style. If you have beater's block, because to me, it just seemed like the producers at the studio was like, look, man, I did about
beater's block.
Thank you. I had about like 30. I did about 30 beats today for all these different musicians. I'm burnt out. When it came to Katy Perry's song, I was just like, look, I'm going to go online. Let me go to YouTube and see. I'm going to go to somebody low. Nobody really listen to Christian music. Yeah, nobody really listen to Christian music like that. So let me check this out, man. Oh, this is kind of hitting. I can get away with this. Let me just slow it down. Da, da, da. And then, okay, we good. We got a song. We got a hit. And so to me, actually, it's more on the producer's part because you're the one who's supposed to be creating the beat. To be honest, it really is. But then you got to think about the people with the music label. What happens to the research? I feel like you're supposed to research to make sure and go through legal proceedings. Do they have a lawyer? Right, and a lawyer to check to see everything on the right. It doesn't infringe on anybody's copyrights. So to me, a lot of channels, I thought a lot of people were supposed to check off on stuff before it got released. To me, it just went from studio to the public with nobody hardly doing any, having any checklists or any channels it was supposed to go through.
And that's just like Blurred Lines. When Marvin Gaye's family sued for it being used without their permission. I mean, it's one of those things. Only reason I'm suing is because you did it without my permission.
Pay homage.
Came to me,
and you're making money from it.
Exactly. And
don't act like it's original when it's not original work.
Blurred Lines, I don't think they ever made it. With Blurred Lines, I don't think they tried to make it like that because they were actually using Marvin Gaye's voice in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they really weren't trying to change it. They just made a different song of it. So, I think they were trying to pay homage but didn't get permission.
Yep. And which is why, where is the legal department? There has to be a legal department in music, in the music industry. There absolutely has to be, because it's just a point where, like, you don't want anyone to just come out with music and then you're constantly getting sued because nobody's going through the proper channels. Like, for me, if I had a music company, I'm like, okay, look, I want to have a research team that goes through the whole internet, kind of searching, creating programs to see if there's any similar songs to this, or anything of that nature, because I'm not trying to get sued.
Exactly. Channels are there for a reason. You have to go through these processes to make sure that you do not have any way for somebody to come after your money. And Katy Perry, your people failed you. They did not do this for you, which is why you ended up having to deal with this. And they should have made it better for you. You shouldn't have even had to go through this. But your team did not ensure that you didn't have to deal with that. So, again, if you didn't know, I feel bad for you. I hope you get through this and move on with the situation. If you did know, shame on you. Pay the man his money.
And then congratulations to Flame for speaking up too, for himself, because a lot of people, because they're independent or on a smaller label or just in a niche, small genre underground, they're like, oh, I don't have the money to go against these people. But it's like he's speaking up.